Well, Don, and if you can't find it in time, we can have her vote and then just if she's ineligible to vote, we just won't count it.
My recollection was it has to be some extraordinary circumstance.
I didn't remember it being extraordinary, but
All right, we are good to go. Go for launch.
She could participate, but I would never go.
well, like I said, I'm gonna have her cast her vote, and if we don't count it, we won't count it in retrospect. But doesn't matter. I don't think it's gonna come down to that. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the August 9th, 2023 Henrietta Town Board meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranek.
Here.
Councilmember Bolsner.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Still muted. Okay, do we have to?
For what it's
Okay,
worth, I
got
see your
it.
face.
Here.
Got it.
I'm here. Sorry.
No problem.
Councilmember Page.
You said here.
Oh, Councilmember Belanca.
Here.
Supervisor Schultz.
Here. So we'll begin this meeting with a silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I make a motion to approve the board minutes from the preceding meeting of July 19th, 2023.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranek.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner.
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Is your mic not on?
Aye.
There we go.
There we go. Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. First up, we have a special recognition. So I think it's you.
It is. Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 16-270, 2023. Whereas Liam Godanis has achieved the rank of Eagle Scout in Boy Scout Troop 7, and whereas to achieve that rank, Liam earned merit badges in 36 disciplines, earning him a bronze, gold, and silver palm award, including a merit badge for hiking, which was new and challenging, and fishing, a sport he really enjoys. Whereas during his time in Scouts, Liam held the positions of patrol leader, senior patrol leader, scribe, and quartermaster, and was honored with a Historical Trails Award and the National Outdoor Achievement Award, Achievement for Camping. And whereas Liam recently graduated from Rush Henrietta Senior High School, was inducted into the Town of Henrietta Youth of Hall of Fame, and plans to pursue a
Keep going.
Okay.
It was Lisa.
pursue a degree in chemistry at the Monroe Community College. And whereas for his Eagle Scout project, Liam built 2 benches for the 100-acre park located along the Genesee River, which will house a portion of the future Riverwalk Trail that will extend through both the towns of Rush and Henrietta, with each bench anchored on concrete pads and providing a comfortable place to sit and good views of the park. Therefore, be it resolved that the Henrietta Town Board joins the Genesee Valley Fire Department, sponsor of Troop 7, in recognizing the achievement and honor of Liam Goodonus in attaining the rank of Eagle Scout.
Second.
So recognizing achievements for Eagle Scouts or the Blue Star for or no, Gold Star, sorry, Gold Star for Girl Scouts and stuff like that is one of the more fun jobs up here as the town board member. It's really amazing what these kids are able to achieve and do, and really gives you a good feeling for the future of our region and our country. So congratulations, as a parent of a scout who didn't quite make it. I know it takes a lot of perseverance. In his case, job, car, track, and a whole bunch of other stuff got in the way of him finishing. And so to see it through to the end, that's a great achievement. I too was one who didn't make it all the way to Eagle when I was a kid. So congratulations.
Congratulations, Liam. It's just always, it's so fantastic reading all of your interests and accomplishments. And what an honor to get the Youth Hall of Fame as well as your Eagle Scout. And it looks like you'll be starting your college career here quite soon. So congratulations on all of your hard work.
Liam, congratulations as well. As I've said many times, Eagle Scout is earned, not awarded. A lot of hard work, a lot of dedication. That's a great start. You've got something to put on a resume that very, very, very few young men in our country and in history have, and it's going to take you great places. Congratulations.
Yep. And I want to congratulate you not only, but also your family. I know how much the work that goes into this. I regret that I didn't have the chance to teach you, but I got a chance to teach Zoe this year, and it's very, very obvious the importance of value and service that you have to the community. So thank you.
I can't hear you guys very well, but I just want to congratulate Liam as well. I've known his family for years. I know how hard he's worked for that. I know how hard it's been, his family has helped him as well. It's such an amazing honor. It's such a great achievement. And I just want to congratulate him and congratulate his folks. What a great honor.
Thank you. So we'll do is we'll call the roll, and then we'll have you come up. We've got a certificate here. Obviously, Lisa is unable to sign from her current location. So when she gets back in town, she'll have to visit the family and sign it then. So. Okay. Actually, any comments from the public, including Liam? If you wish to say something, you're more than welcome to.
That's
Nope. Then hearing no further comment, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranek,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolzner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. Congratulations, and come on forward. And if any family members wish to be in the pictures as well, they're welcome to.
Who's going to take it tonight?
With the honors.
Yep.
I can bring up the camera.
Okay.
All right, take a picture.
Yeah, you're good. Congratulations. So I know about it.
Let's vote on it yet. Did you vote on it yet?
We did.
Yes. Okay. Want to share this real quick?
Great, thank you.
Oh, we got special permits. First.
Okay. You guys are welcome to stay for the meeting, but if you want to bail at this time, it's a good chance to get out. First up, we have special use permit application number 2023-031, University of Rochester Urgent Care Facility, 1300 Jefferson Road, to operate an urgent care facility in a portion of a 8,086 square feet building being constructed by Benderson Development Company, relocating from an existing building at the parcel. You could introduce yourself and your relationship to the project.
Good evening, Supervisor, members of the board. Matthew Oates with Benderson Development. With me this evening as well is Mark Mary, representing University of Rochester. We are requesting a special use permit application to allow the University of Rochester to expand and relocate the existing urgent care facility that is in our existing building at 1300 Jefferson Road into a new building we'll be constructing on the other side of the site in the vacant out parcel. U of R was looking to expand the service by about 2,000 square feet. We did not have any available space in the existing building. So over the last couple of years, U of R has looked at many different options for locations. They felt staying in this area and coming into the new building with their existing landlord was the best option. So that is what we are proposing. We feel the site meets all existing or all requirements of the town's special use permit. They'll be maintaining the existing hours of operation as well that are there. The site did get an initial site plan approval in February of 2022. We're gonna, if the town board so chooses to grant the special use permit, we'll then be reapplying just to re-get the site plan approval because it has expired. Myself and Mark are happy to answer any questions that the board has.
I don't really have anyone. I think this one's pretty open shut, but glad to hear that they're going to stay in Rochester or in Henrietta, because I know it serves that portion of the community well. Anybody else?
I'm all set.
Were you looking at a different location, or was it this location where that you had the site plan approval for?
Well, from Benderson's standpoint, this was our only location that we
Okay.
were presenting to the University of Rochester. I know they have a whole process and a whole due diligence process where they can't just choose a site. They have to go through a whole process
Okay,
for that. So U of R did look at other locations as
The,
well.
the initial site plan approval was for a building, not necessarily this tenant, correct?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's why it needs to be updated.
okay. So I'm sorry, I was there at the planning board when
Right.
when it was approved,
Yes.
so I was just trying to understand what exactly.
Correct, yes. We got
happened.
the project approved. Then we could
Yes.
present to U of R. We had we have a site plan approval for a building here. So then if you're coming, they know that the town's already seen the project. It has an approval, and then it's more welcoming and helps us kind of sell that area as well.
Okay, I understand now. Great,
But the problem is if because they haven't taken out and started the construction within a year's time, they have to go back and get it.
right,
Yeah.
yes, but also the discussion, I think at the time was that there was a plan for a potential urgent care clinic, but it was undefined as to what. So,
Right, gotcha.
and now it's defined now, I understand.
Okay, any other questions?
Hmm.
Anything from the public? Then hearing no further comment, I am going to close the public hearing for the special use permit application number 2023-031, University of Rochester Urgent Care Facility. Can I get a motion with regards to this project?
Mr. Supervisor, and fellow board members, I propose that we adopt special use permit application number 2023-031. University of Rochester Urgent Care Facility 1300 Jefferson Road to operate an urgent care facility in a portion of an 86, thank you, square foot building being constructed by Benderson Development Company, relocating from an existing building on the parcel.
Second.
So, just following up, do you have a tenant for that, for the empty space, or are you waiting until it? it's
We don't
actually
have a
empty?
tenant yet. I would assume there wouldn't be anyone who would probably lease the space yet until U of R had a firm time frame
Gotcha.
when they would actually be vacating the space.
That makes sense.
So we would expect it to lease out pretty quickly. We've done
Sounds
well over
good.
there.
What was the current zoning for this area?
This zoning, if I remember correctly, is,
It's
B1,
industrial.
or is
no,
it
it's still-
industrial, or
It's
is-
still in an industrial.
it's still in the
zone, yes.
industrial space. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, somewhere around there, it changes from B1 to industrial.
Right.
Either one requires, for this purpose, requires a special use
Requires,
permit.
yep.
Okay, any further comments? And hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranic,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Congratulations.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have special use permit application number 2022-051, East Henrietta Apartments by AR Building Company, 2160 and 2132 East Henrietta Road, to construct two 4-story apartment buildings for a total of 101 units. Yep, sure.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Simmons from Civil and Environmental Consultants, here on behalf of AR Building Company to discuss the residential development at 2160 East Henrietta Road. So it's been a while since we presented the project. I figured it'd be beneficial to go over some of the items that have changed since the last time. These changes are results of the feedback from the January 18th meeting, as well as review letters from January 20th, April 28th, and also staff correspondence from May 23rd and August 7th. So some of the significant changes include the acquisition of the Magic Garden Florist property located directly north of the subject property. With this acquisition and the reduction of units, the proposed development now has a density less than the required 12 units per acre per the ordinance. The current density is 11.93 dwelling units per acre. The layout's also been refined to provide as much undisturbed buffer as possible along the eastern property boundary. The applicant has condensed the interior development and are now proposing a 75-foot undisturbed buffer. We've also had the acquisition of a sewer easement located on the southeast of the property, allowing us access to the right-of-way for installation and connection of our storm and sanitary sewers. Relocation of the sewer extensions due to the recently gained access will eliminate any need for any pumped sewer system and will be designed gravity. We've also conducted an ecological desktop review of the property and are recommending specific seed mixes and supplemental wildlife tree plantings beneficial to existing habitat, as well as limited disturbance design to help maintain current wildlife. We've also provided renderings from both East Henrietta Road and the Lane Road to show the perspectives for the request. We've also provided a simplified drainage evaluation that has been conducted to show how the proposed stormwater management facility will affect neighboring properties by reducing uncontrolled runoff by approximately 70%. And lastly, we've also made a couple of adjustments for fire safety purposes by widening apparatus access roads from 24 to 26 feet wide, as well as increase the width of the emergency access road from 16 to 20 feet. We've also increased the number of proposed fire hydrants to ensure that the entirety of the apartment buildings are located within 100 feet of a hydrant and the clubhouse within 300 feet. So as you can see with the revised layout, as well as response to comments packages provided, we've welcomed any comments received from the town and neighbors and are happy to accommodate to ensure that this is a development that the community can be proud of. So at this time, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. So I'd like to say thank you for, every time we've brought forth identified potential adverse impacts from the residents, you guys have stepped up and worked to mitigate those. So, and especially, I was requiring at least 50%, 50 feet of the 100-foot buffer to be undisturbed. And the fact that you guys were able to push it to 75 is great, because I think that will really help both from the long-term operation of the facility, but also as well as during construction. A couple notes, when you're going through your site plan review, be sure to review your seed mixes and trees, plants choices with the conservation board. They'll go over that with you. In talking with the New York State Department of Transportation, it sounds like they would be fine and might actually prefer that north entrance to not be a gated exit and entrance.
Okay.
It's possible they might want the exit to be right turn only.
Okay.
But they're afraid that, because you have to have the gate in far enough so that the fire truck can pull in, they'd be afraid that too many people would pull in and then have to back out.
So did you get a feel for a right in, right out, or just a one-way right out?
They didn't specify either way.
Okay.
They just said that they would consider, so I would reach out to Chris Martin. Was it Zach? Or I don't remember if it was Chris or Craig.
Yeah, sorry, Supervisor, this is Chris Martin. So yes, it was Zachary Stark at the New York State DOT. And I'll be more than happy to share that information with Brad.
Yeah, I've been in contact with Zach's information, and we'll make sure we reach out to get their opinion on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's about, the one question I didn't see in my list. So I'm fully aware that our code needs some updating with regards to parking requirements. It's on a long list of to-do things with our code. So in terms of, I suspect you're not at the prescribed unit or parking space numbers.
Correct. Yeah, we're now proposing 1.63 spots per unit.
Which again, and you've got data to back it up, and almost all of them come in. Are you planning to go to get a variance to adjust it? Or are you looking at land bank?
No, I think the intent is to go for the variance.
Okay,
Which we will run concurrently with the planning board.
sure. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, like I said, I know it's a heavy load. One of the other things that the code doesn't take into account is, are they 1-bedroom units, 2-bedroom units, 3-bedroom units? I think it's all built for the high end. But although even then, I'd be curious, I'd be surprised if they did in fact average 2.5 cars per apartment unit, but that's what the code currently calls for. So that's a pretty standard thing. I saw that you did increase from 1.5 to 1.6 with regards to, there was some public concern expressed over, not wanting to have cars spill out into adjacent areas. So we appreciate you guys adding to that as well.
Yeah, and I think the times have changed a little bit. That's always something that comes up from my past experience. But we have provided data for very similar, if not exact, developments that AR has worked on that have provided similar parking counts, and they seem to work successfully.
Sounds good. Other board members?
Just for the record, this is market rate apartments, correct?
Correct.
They're not subsidized in any way.
That is correct.
Okay. Do you looking for any relief with Comida at all for the tax?
I don't have that answer. I could ask our clients and see if,
I'm not sure what they'd be able to go for.
Yeah, it's true too.
Yeah, because it's not student housing, it's not senior housing, and it's not affordable housing. So I see Lisa shaking her head, so
But we
think
do
that's
get
correct,
questions, and
Yeah.
so I thought I'd just put it on.
Yeah,
I think it's.
they wouldn't,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, they wouldn't have anything. They'd have to have subsidized housing or something in there, and they're not asking for any of that. So Comida wouldn't have any availability to help them.
I'm all set.
Lee or Joe,
No.
you have anything, Joe?
No.
Lisa, do you have anything? Okay,
No.
Do we have anybody from the public who would wish to speak on this? Okay, if you could move to the side, come on up and introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like to say.
I'm Mike Papa. I own the shop across the street from where he's building. Okay. You're probably gonna have to answer a couple of questions because the echo in here is horrible and I couldn't.
If you
hear a
could
word
address
they
the
were saying.
questions to us and then we'll ask them to answer them if as appropriate.
Is he the builder, the architect, what?
So he's working for the builder. The builder is AR Builders. So I don't know if he's architect or site plan. Go ahead, if you could answer that.
The civil engineer.
Civil engineer.
So who are you targeting to occupy these apartments?
Essentially, anybody that's needing a place to live.
Right.
Or in the market for an
Th-
apartment.
This one is market rate, which just basically means that it's the general public, for lack of a better way to put it.
Question I'm asking is it for low income,
No,
No,
subsidized?
no,
no,
no subsidized housing. It's not geared towards, so there is a different project, not this one, that is geared towards there's smaller, more economical apartments geared towards people who might want to use public transportation. That's not this project. This is just market rate. Again, your middle-class apartment dwellers. I don't
The
know
thing
what
that,
you-
the thing that I'm worried about is if they're gonna put any people in there that are low income. That the
Right.
crime rate in low income housing, crime rate goes way up.
I'm
And I'm
concerned
right across the
that
street.
you would make that association. We
Right.
like to make sure that this is a community that we welcome everyone. I don't want to put a dog whistle out there and say that if there is something that is going to be subsidized, market rate, et cetera, I would like to assume the best intentions of people.
Right.
Sir.
And so, but ignoring that, it's not even the point. So let's not even go down that road. Do you have another question you'd like to ask?
No, that's it.
Okay,
I don't want to have to park everything behind a fence every night.
okay.
I know you think it's funny. It's not.
I don't think it's funny. I think it's actually
It's a
rather bigoted that
It's a
you're saying
legitimate
that.
concern. I've been there for 50 years,
Okay, and you've had crime?
minimal.
Okay, well, there are some subsidized housing nearby, so that kind of blows your theory out of the water, but, okay, thank you. Any other comments?
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
One more thing I'd like to mention. It's my understanding that the florist is going to continue to conduct business as regular until further notice. I know that from my understanding, she's received some information or some calls and things,
Yep.
and they just wanted to make sure that everybody's aware.
Yeah, and I actually want to touch on that. So she is going to continue to operate, as I understand it, and she's was even potentially considering operating a little bit longer at another location. One of the things that I found very disheartening is that there were people calling or going to her store and berating her for being a traitor. I guess they were hoping that if she didn't sell, they wouldn't be able to do this project or they'd have to shrink the project down. I find that particularly disturbing. I don't know what happened to Days of Good Neighbors. This person has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that business, and she has a right to make money upon the sale of the property. So I hope those end and that people are nice to this person who has served the Henrietta community for many, many years. One of the other things is I was mentioning to the builders, so they can do that. They could, if she's going to move out once construction starts, if you want to use it as your construction offices so that it's not, you don't have the trailers that you normally see on the stuff in place, don't have a need for porta potties, you can do that. The only condition, and I've put it in the special use permit approval, is it would need to be demolished before the final certificate of occupancy is issued. So if you were doing the two buildings, I don't know if you're planning on opening both buildings at the same time. Some people open one building and then open the second, but it would be before the second one would be issued in C of O, the building would have to be removed.
So the first one would be acceptable. Okay.
Correct, yeah.
Thank you.
You don't hit the problem is that building has to be gone in order to meet your density count. If only one
Gotcha.
building's open, you've got plenty of density space left. So it's just a way to potentially save the developers money, and it's actually neater looking than trailers. So just as an option. And I think that's about it. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, so because these plans came in essentially today, we're not going to rule on them because the public hasn't had sufficient time to review them, as well as, in addition, the town board, I'm the only one who works on this full time. They're all part-time, so I want them to have time to digest it. I've put together, I outlined the 19 items that we identified under seeker and have gone through and put down what the mitigations offered are. I've got a few left. When I was working on it last night, I didn't have access to the document you guys had sent on in July 24th. So I'm going to finish that up, get that out to the board members. Same thing with this special use permit considerations, get that out to the town board members. And then we should be all set for the August 30th meeting. Because again, the public hasn't had a chance to review it and had a chance to respond. I'm going to keep the public hearing open, but I don't expect it to go long on the 30th. So.
Understood. Thank you
questions?
very much for your time. And obviously, if anything comes up in the meantime, please reach out.
I said one of the things we'll do is we'll pretend that the meeting is in 2 weeks. That way we have everything ready well in advance of the meeting. So, okay, thank you very much for your time. And again, I'd like to thank AR Builders for their willingness to mitigate every single thing we've brought forward. So I know, some of the neighbors don't want to have a new development in their backyard. I get it. But the property owners have a right to develop within the laws of zoning and seeker laws. And, if the project meets it, then it's approved. If the project doesn't meet it, then it's denied. It's how the system works. So again, I'd like to thank them for their willingness to work with us to mitigate the potential negative impacts. I think, again, they prefer it to stay empty, but without it being empty, I think it's actually a good project is how it's turned out. It's developed well from where it started. So appreciate it.
Thank you again.
I'm going to just close this session of the public hearing, but we're going to keep the public hearing open. And that concludes our special use permits. Can I get my second resolution?
Mr. Supervisor, I have resolution number 16-271/2023 to authorize and or ratify the following agreements executed between July 14th, 2023 and August 4th, 2023.
Second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Aye.
Councilmember Blanca,
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor, fellow town board members, I have resolution 16-272/2023 to authorize bills payable and any associated contracts or agreements for July 25th, 2023 through August 9th, 2023.
Second, I'll make a couple notes from our finance director. Items of note on this check run include town court construction for $496,000, a dump truck purchase for $198,000, and highway and road paving for $163,000.
And I will make a note also that I think Lisa made a good trade when it comes to
Oh, trading
opting
bills.
out of this one.
So for those who don't know what he's talking about, the town board members, the council members audit, they go through all the bills payable. And some meetings, the stack is longer and because of council member Bolsner's travel schedule, she swapped meeting dates with council member Blanca, and apparently this was a fairly large one to go through.
Thank you, Millie.
And I appreciate Council Member Safranik switching with me very much.
Anytime. for
Oh,
you.
you're the one who did it?
Mhm.
Oh, I thought you were saying that you had to go through it, Joe.
Yeah, Millie, no, Millie did it.
Really did it, so. Okay, any further comments? Anything from the public? Anything online? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. Fellow board members, I have resolution 16-273, 2023 to authorize the extension of special use permit numbers 2022-008 and 011 to apply split zoning to the parcel such that the parcel can be utilized for commercial B2 purposes and to allow the construction of an apartment building known as South Ridge Landing.
Seconded.
So this is that aforementioned project that's over at CVS. They've been working on getting access to that shared exit from or onto East Henrietta Road. They've been running into some hurdles with the property owner. That's delayed them in applying for funding, which has delayed them in starting the project. So they've asked for an extension. Any questions, comments? Anything from the public? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 16-274, 2023. To call for a public hearing on a local law to update town code with respect to environmental quality review.
Second.
So this, the purpose of this is to just, when this code was originally put in, seeker was a bit different than it is today. Rather than have a potential conflict between our code and the latest seeker, we're basically recommending that our section of code just refer to the New York State code so that it will always be consistent. Any questions, comments? And this is just calling for the public hearing, which will be at the next meeting. Hearing no comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 16-275/2023 to adopt seeker determination, issuing a negative declaration for the renovation of athletic fields at Veterans Memorial Park.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
God bless you.
Mr. Supervisor, fellow town board members, I have resolution 16-276, 2023 to award the winning bid for the 2023 Veterans Memorial Park Athletic Fields renovations bid to Riches Sports Field, Inc.
Second. So we had a meeting with the individual who won the bid response. We had the meeting yesterday. We basically have been looking at ways to scope down the work because so it came in a little high. Now, one of the things was it was to fully rebuild the fields as if from scratch. We don't need that for all the fields. We're not 100% certain what level of work is needed right now in a couple of fields. We're going to be doing some exploratory with that. We're going to get a bunch of town help on that. In fact, he is going to give us ideas of what town crews can do to help bring the cost down. So our goal is to get the cost down below $200,000. there's a chance we might have to come back to go up a little bit more, but I'd rather start at the $200,000 because that's a goal I'd like them to get under. So that's why you'll notice it's not to exceed amount of 200,000, even though his bid response was higher. One of the things, knowing that this work was going to be variable, the bid was done in such a manner that it was all, per square foot, per bulk ton, per bases, per field, that type of stuff. So the pricing still applies. It's the multiplier that will be smaller. So any questions, comments on that? And I'd like to thank Pam Grunman and Craig Ross from the Parks and Recreation Department for their work on this. Again, trying to get these fields done as nice as possible, as cost effectively as possible. And then in the future, I'll be thanking the DPW crews who help work on it. So any other questions, comments, anything from the public?
I feel good that safety issues or possible safety issues being addressed has been lingering for way too long.
Yeah, so specifically addressing that, some of the lights are currently in the field of play. We have them padded, but they're still in the field of play. So the new lights will be moved outside the field of play. The one backstop, the way the fields are oriented, is in the field of play of the other field. So we're going to rearrange them so that fields are facing each other. The outfields are to each other, but there's still a 10-foot gap. We're extending all the outfields to 300 feet. So there should be zero chance of people running into each other. And then in the one outfield, there is a sanitary sewer manhole. Talking with our sewer department, they are able to do the flushing from either the manhole before or the manhole after. So we're going to put a waterproof membrane on that and just sod right over it. We'll record where it is in case for emergency repairs we ever have to get to it, but we should never have to open that. So that again removes another safety. And last but not least, field 4, which is kind of tight to the road and tight to the creek, we're moving it away so that get the players' benches away. That will open up, not only make it safer for the players' benches, it'll leave enough room to bring a sidewalk along Memorial Drive, because we want to add a pedestrian bridge over the creek there. For instance, during the 4th of July, pedestrians are streaming across that bridge at the same time all the cars are trying to get out of the park, and that does not create a safe situation. So those are all the things that we're working on that Councilmember Page was just referencing. So.
And I think you took a nice one on the sword for that one, because if we're moving it back to 300 feet, you've obviously hit your last home run. So
That's not true, because the technology on the softball bats now,
I know.
is like batting with kryptonite.
They're well, if nothing else,
balls, come on.
they're in the park home runs now.
Even a supervisor could hit it out.
No. You haven't seen me play softball. I was a good fielder. I was not good at the bat. Okay, any other comments, questions? Then hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. One last thing I'll just note on the resolution we just passed. We did write it so that it could be piggybacked, so that if other municipalities, needed sod material or installation or establishing an infield, they could potentially piggyback off of this contract. So it saves other municipalities money. At the Supervisors Association, I've been trying to encourage all the supervisors to do that. Don't know who else is doing it, but I figure might as well lead by example.
Can you share with us what is the projected time frame for that?
So the current schedules go through till August 28th or 29th, somewhere thereabouts. So the last week in August, we're going to start rough grading. Right after Labor Day, they're going to come in and start to install the light poles. The first thing they will do is install these 17-foot concrete posts. 10 feet of them go below ground, 7 feet go above ground. So they set them and then they infill it with concrete to stabilize it. Those have to sit for 2 weeks and harden, and then they come and put the giant light poles over the top.
So the reason I asked was that we might make some signs in a sign shop closing those fields in
Yeah.
anticipation of that, because they tend to go up there to practice when we're not around, and we want liability issues we don't need. So.
Agreed.
Okay, thank you.
So there will be one field kept open for fall ball.
Mhm.
And then basically they'll be doing the other work on the other fields in the meantime, and that, looking at the schedule, should be just about right. When that fall ball is finished, they'll come in and do the infield on the last ball, on the
Sounds-
last field.
Sounds
So,
good.
okay, fellow board members, I have resolution 16-277, 2023 to award the August 2023 mowers, sharpeners, and blowers bid to Joseph C. Domino, Inc.
Seconded.
So this was the low bid of the responses. These are, there's two types of real mower sharpeners, is the blade sharpener and the bed knife sharpener. So he has both of those available, and we need those to keep the mowers, the greens mowers, greens, tees, and fairways mowers nice and sharp. So to do a good job cutting. So any questions? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 16-278, 2023. To add to the scope of the architecture contract with Bergman Associates PC to support design changes to the new town court for change in size, COVID-induced delays, and the addition of a snow melt system.
Second.
So this was actually submitted quite some time ago. I had some issues with it. We've been going back and forth, although a couple times other stuff came up, and I just told the architect I'm back burnering it for now, including when we then had to get all of our consolidated funding applications in before their deadlines. The three major things here were the size of the court increased from when we first went out to bid. It was we had originally said 9,000 to 10,000 square feet, but we had included a concept plan with the bid documents that showed 10,536 square feet. So that's what we used as the adjustment point. And then if you recall, this started pre-COVID. When COVID hit, we put this project on pause, not because of the pandemic itself, but because we were uncertain of what was going to happen to sales tax revenues, mortgage tax revenues. Little did we know there was going to be next to no impact. But we didn't want to be incurring additional costs while the project was up in the air. From that time that the town put in the stop to the time the town basically renewed the project, the costs, I'll call it their internal costs, or however you want to look at it, those went up by about 5%. So there was one for that. And then the other thing we decided to do, we'd had very good success with a snow melt at the library. And our original plans did not call for snow melt on the court, so we did add snow melt for that. So that's that additional work, design work. So that's what the adjustments is. They asked for others. Some of those, they were willing to absorb the costs of some of those changes. Some they were asking, and I said, no, I'm not willing to pay any of the ones that were what I'll call nebulous, that I couldn't point to hard numbers and say, this is where it's at. I basically told them, sorry, you're going to have to eat it. So I will note that this total is still below the second place bid, even though it doesn't necessarily have to be because we've added actual scope, but it just feels better that even with the change orders, it's still the lowest bid, so. Any questions, comments on that? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Blanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 16-279/2023 to authorize the supervisor to sign an out-of-district sewer use agreement with the Rochester 100 Incorporated for their property located at 40 Jefferson Road.
Second.
Any discussion? So for those who don't know, this is located in the town of Brighton. One thing I will note that what we put the requirement on them, there's plans in the local waterfront revitalization plan or, concept plans to possibly develop that corner near the Ballantyne Bridge, which would require a public a pump station. It's not surprising Rochester 100 wasn't interested in paying for the cost of a public pump station, so they're going to put in a private pump station. But what we did require them to do is the force main they ran, we sized it for the public pump station. So even though their use only needed a 2-inch force main, we require them to put in a 3-inch force main so that if in the future we ever decide to develop that and put in a public pump station, we'll be able to use the existing force main. We won't have to run. So that'll save taxpayers a lot of money. And we'll just have to put in a new pump station, at which point they could either just connect their force main into our holding tank, or they could run a gravity feed to our holding tank and eliminate their pump station. That's up to them. So in the meantime, they would be paying out of district user fees. So any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Blanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor, fellow town board members, I have resolution 16-280/2023 to authorize the purchase of 3 new SUVs for the Building and Fire Prevention Department.
Second, I'll note, some of these vehicles the used vehicles will be either reused by an additional employee or kept as a spare. I think one is being used as a trade-in, if I remember correctly. Any questions, comments?
These are scheduled replacements.
Yes. I think, again, one might be due to an additional hire.
Okay.
Correct, 2 are replacement and 1 is for a new employee in the building and fire department.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Blanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. Fellow board members, I have resolution 16-281/2023 to make appropriate budget transfers.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Blanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 16-282/2023 to hire personnel and make the attached changes.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Blanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor, I have the last resolution for tonight's meeting, number 16-283/2023, to authorize the purchase of a new print and cut printer and plotter for the Highway Department sign shop.
Second. Sorry.
So we looked at a bunch of these, was myself, Nate from Sign Shop and Andrew from IT. We didn't just look at the unit cost because this was not the cheapest of the ones we looked at. However, when you added, we basically calculated out 5 years worth of ink. This printer was about $600 cheaper per set of ink cartridges than our current one and the other ones that were in competition with it. And they purchase between 1 and 2 sets of ink cartridges a year. So you're looking at, it's usually 2. So you're looking at about $1,200 a year savings over 5 years. That quickly made up the $3,000 in difference. So in addition, the latex printer actually essentially puts like latex paint on it and cures it. And then it does have the ability to cut like if we're doing the adhesive latex and other stuff, and directly integrates with our software, which is something that our current printer does not do. Currently, they have to do the software, then they have to transfer it and convert it and load it into the printer software. This is a much better solution. And last, I'll just note that the projected services right now are about $400. We put $800 just in case something goes wrong and we need additional services. We didn't want to have to come back to the town board. So it says for the professional install of up to 800, but I don't expect it to be that high. Questions, comments?
The sign shop adds a lot of value to the operation of this town.
Agreed.
It really does.
Yep. Okay, hearing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Safranik,
Aye.
Councilmember Bolsner,
Aye.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. That concludes our public resolutions. Do we have any discussion items or comments from the public? Do we have any public? There's none in the building anymore. I don't know if there's anyone online. Seeing none, do we have any committee or miscellaneous reports from the board?
No.
Anybody?
I attended the town fishing
Yeah.
tournament sponsored by the town and the local American Legion. We had over 80 some children. And of course, with parents and grandparents, there was a couple hundred people there, really well run. They de-stressed the competition and encouraged the children to participate. It's really just a good all around thing. And Craig and the recreation department he was on site. They did a great job.
So I was at a couple events this past weekend. I went to Wild Tinker, which is always a fun event. A lot of good interesting animals there, including an owl that was blind in one eye, couldn't see out of the other, from one of the rehab locations. They had a Harris hawk, which is a really impressive looking bird. And they had band and food, and the event went real well. And the second event, I'm actually going to leave to Lisa because it was at the library.
Oh, hang on. Yes, so Steve and I were at the opening of the Tiny Art Show at the library. It's just amazing, some of the artwork that people were able to do on these tiny little blocks. Some very, very impressive artwork. And I believe, if I'm correct, Steve, they had 500 different pieces of art throughout the library. I think Adrian had said there was 250 last year and there was 500 this year. I'm thinking that's the correct number. I don't have my notes in front of me. So very, very impressive. Stop by and check it out. It's there through the end of the month, I believe. And just very impressive.
Adrian, are you on to confirm that number, or someone from the library?
I'm on, Olivia, and yes, that number is correct.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
very well attended.
and there were a lot of fun with kids, including my I don't know what you would call him, second nephew once removed. I don't know. My cousin's son they had this big paintbrush there and a big palette, and he was doing the painting and he was helping clean up the stuff. It was really cute. It was a lot of fun. So
It's a great event.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank Lisa for taking time out of her vacation and putting up with the time delay across the pond, because you can hear when she gets called on for the time she can respond. I know that you hate to miss meetings like I do, all of us do, but sometimes schedules don't permit it. So I think it's phenomenal that you're able to join us virtually. So
Yep. And
I really appreciate it.
is all of England going to go crazy on Saturday for the Women's World Cup play in Colombia? You've got a destination plans? Are you avoiding all that stuff?
I'm actually in Scotland over the weekend, so I won't be there for it. There's actually some kind of a thing going on here right now with the kids for baton twirling. I'm in Liverpool, and there's a huge baton twirling. We've seen the USA is staying in our hotel. We've seen France. We've seen Croatia. So it's interesting.
So you've seen London, you've seen France. I'll stop there.
Yeah, we'll stop there, Steve, please. But thank you very much. I appreciate everybody accommodating me so I could participate in the meeting.
Yeah, avoid soccer hooligans. That would be my recommendation.
There you go.
Any further comments? And hearing, I will note that we added a last minute executive session regarding something that came to my attention yesterday that I just wanted to share with the board regarding the employment of a particular person. So Lisa, I will give you a call when we get to executive session. So the plan is to.
Sounds good.
The plan is to adjourn to executive session, and then we will adjourn straight from executive session. We will not return to open session. So can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, hearing no objections,